to this Houston game when it goes final, and also Matt Painter and some of the things that he had to say, which I found interesting after the Indiana loss. But first things first, 49-46. That's not the halftime score, John Henson. That was the final in Lincoln. Nice bounce back for Michigan. Should it count, though, since no one got to 50?
You're muted.
Muted, John. That's, hey, you know what? This game was muted. This game was not on.
I've never seen, I'm looking across these numbers. I've never seen anything like it. I think Michigan gets beat having a night like this probably with 90% of the teams in the Big Ten. So credit to them for being able to win in a kind of a nasty game, a game where you're not hitting shots. Statistically, everything was pretty much even. They both turned the ball over kind of the same amount of times. But a road win in Nebraska is tough to get. Nebraska's knocked some people off at home. So credit to Michigan for, continuing to show that they're one of the top teams in the country. And this was a game Nebraska kind of sorely needed to lock them in. They are definitely, on the field of 68's tournament, they're a 10 seed, but they've got to get some more wins down the stretch to really lock that in.
Yeah. We'll get into that because to me, it's just a larger conversation about, expansion in the bubble and that entire thing. But RC, this felt like, again, it was a road game for Michigan on a Monday after, you lose at home in a very disappointing fashion. So while, we can look at the score, we can look at the percentages, and we can all agree that it was offensive, insulting to the sport of basketball, it was very important for Michigan to win this game. Was it not, RC?
I think it was more important for Nebraska. Michigan's in the field. They're in. Michigan's clearly in. Nebraska needed to get this win because Michigan didn't play well. Neither team played well. You were home in an ugly game like that. You want to find a way to try to get over the hump and get a win. But credit Michigan. They're trying to win the Big Ten regular season title, and they found a way on the road to dig out a win. But if you're in Nebraska, you're kicking yourself in this one because to play a game like that, you kind of hope your crowd and you can find a way to get 50 points would have got it done tonight. You look at a game like that, you're going to count plays that you missed and free throws. You're going to look at every little thing you could have done to win this game against Michigan. So it was an ugly game offensively. Both of these teams look offensively challenged. That's just being kind. But I thought they did play hard, and unfortunately for the Cornhuskers, you just didn't take care of business at home. So for a team that's squarely on the bubble, trying to find as many signature wins to beat a ranked opponent like Michigan would have been big to keep you off the bubble. What can you say? It just was a tough-fought game, hard-fought game, but credit to Michigan, man. They found a way. They've been in close games. I think it showed down the stretch. They executed and did what they needed to do. So credit to Michigan.
Yeah. John, this Michigan team is interesting, man, because, when they win these Big Ten games, it's always by the slimmest of margins, right? 3-point wins, 4-point wins. Damn near every single one of them. I think they're now 8-1 in games decided by 4 points or fewer. And then when they lose, it gets away from them, right? They lost by 27. They've lost by 13. Is that a skill to win close games, or is it just a team that's kind of living on the right side of, that shot variance? Like, how do you kind of come down on Michigan?
You're playing with fire if you just constantly play to the level of your competition, which is essentially what a close game is, right? When Michigan got after them, they lost by 13. But if you look at their scores, 86-83, 75-73, 70-67, 80-76, 66-63. The last game that they won by more than 6 points was against Washington, I don't know, like a month ago. So definitely not a skill. It's called playing with fire and not putting opponents away and doing what you need to do to win games. And it could come back to bite them down the stretch. They've got some games coming. They've got Rutgers, who you can't play with. Obviously, Illinois is coming off of bad losses to Duke, Maryland, and Michigan State. So, it could catch up to you quickly, especially those last two games where it looks like Maryland and Michigan State are kind of going to decide their fate, and they'll be able to kind of play that out with the Michigan State game last. So, you play these close games, and then, when you don't play well, it gets out of hand. I think that is a sign of a team to fade, as we would call it, Mr. John Hart.
Yeah, I like it, man. And I don't disagree with you. But RC, in terms of, where this Michigan team is going, right? I mean, this is Dusty May's first year. Objectively, he's done a really good job getting the roster together and putting that team in the mix for, Big Ten contention. Obviously doesn't look like they're going to get there, but had a chance before the Michigan State loss. When you sort of, look at their trajectory, what do they feel like to you? Do they feel like a Sweet 16 team? Do they feel like deep? I mean, are they a first round exit? Like, where are we at on Michigan?
I'm a little indifferent than you guys about Michigan. I think that's just the way they play. They play with 2 7-footers on the floor, right? They're going to use their length. They're going to challenge you to shoot and score with those guys. With Vlad Golden inside, they're not playing the small ball the way everyone else plays, and for that matter, they're a defensive oriented team. They're going to be in these games. That's the way they got to play, and then they rely without a point guard, without a true point guard on the roster as well. Wolf kind of handles the ball most of the time and makes decisions for them in the half court. So it's just I think Dusty May's done a great job of just executing what he has. Style of play and what they're doing. It's just I have no problem with it. You're going to be in those games. Some teams I think need to play that way. I mean, if you're making shots and somebody's having a great game, you ride with it. But I don't think Michigan wants to play games where it's you want the ball moving and everything, but you don't want to get into a high scoring game because again you're not the most offensively free-flowing squad. I mean, the ball, when it's making someone steps up and makes shots. If Donaldson plays great, it's different. But on a night like this, I mean, obviously they'll lose any other game. But defensively, man, they're playing 2 7-footers, and Wolf is having a guard on the perimeter. He got in foul trouble here tonight. I thought they attacked him a little bit off the bounce. Vlad is doing what he's done all year. I think he's been the most consistent player for him on and off the court. But again, they're not playing a traditional small ball style of play. I mean, so they're going to be in these tight games. They're executing well. They're obviously, you said they're 8-1 in these situations. Tonight, I thought they handled business. I'll say this to you guys. I don't know how you guys feel. Up to 2 seconds left, John. You got a free throw, and you're up 2. Are you making it or are you missing it? Because I always say you miss it, and then let them rebound and heave it 90 feet instead of going up 3, giving you a chance to run a play.
Yeah, or I would either you're going to miss or make and we foul. That's what that's so that's kind of
2 seconds. It's like 2.4 seconds or so. So that's a dangerous foul if you're going to foul, and then you got to do it off the catch. I guess that's just dangerous. But I'm just saying, if I'm up 2 with 2 seconds left, it goes back to when we talked about the Iowa State-Arizona game.
Yeah.
I'm not making 3 allowing you to throw the ball to half court, execute your play. It's going to be miss it, you rebound it. If you take one dribble
you got to
heave 85 feet, then
and if the ball gets tipped,
so
it's over. It's over. Yeah. I percentages probably, I would say miss it. Now that I'm really thinking about it, but obviously that's a coaching staff decision. But yeah, I think also matchup wise, Michigan could be a tricky team in the tournament, right? Like 2 7-footers. Haven't seen them, teams that haven't seen them yet. You're going to have to obviously game plan for them that size. So I think in the tournament they could sneak up on someone that's just haven't seen them up close before. Similar to like I think even at Houston, like when you get on the court with them, you see that defensive, you see that length, you see that size, athleticism. If you don't get it together, you're in shock mode. You're going home. So I do think this Michigan team they can make a run. I can see that.
By the way,